Bună ziua, doamnelor și domnilor! Bine ați venit la o nouă ediție a emisiunii ZF Investiți În România, realizată în parteneriat cu CEC Bank. Eu sunt Ali Ciudac, eu azi voi fi gazda dumneavoastră. După cum bine știți, ziua de marți este ziua în care ne uităm de obicei la finanțări, este ziua în care ne uităm la modul în care se dezvoltă companiile din România, cum își susțin și cum își finanțează această creștere, această dezvoltare. Astăzi vom discuta în prima parte a emisiunii cu un fond de investiții nou intrat în piața locală. Alături de noi este domnul Evtim Chesnovski, partner în cadrul Integral Ventures. Bună ziua, bine ați venit! Tell us a little more about your fund. We know that you announced a transaction with Medima Health, your first in this market. Who are you and what are your plans for the Romanian market?
Thank you for the invitation for this discussion. My name is Evtim Chesnovski. I'm partner in Integral Venture Partners. Integral Venture Partners is a leading private equity and growth equity investor in the markets of Central and Eastern Europe. We operate out of offices in London, Budapest, and Belgrade, and among other countries in the region. Romania for us is a core market, is one of the largest markets, and a market that we believe has extreme potential. We've been trying to develop a pipeline, a project pipeline over the last couple of years, and we have partnered with Portfolios Capital, being a like-minded investor in this project, and have recently signed a definitive transaction agreement for investment in Medima Health.
Well, I know that you are an expert with a history of big funds like Mid Europa. What can you tell us about the fund you are in now? When was it formed? What's the dimension of the fund? Who put the capital?
Yes, good question. As you rightly pointed out, we the senior team at Integral Venture Partners is coming from Mid Europa Partners, the largest private equity investor in Central Eastern Europe, and with a very significant track record in Romania. We have basically a few years ago we've identified a niche in I would say the medium, smaller and medium segment in the region, where we believe there is a significant gap in terms of capital providers, but at the same time there is a significant demand for private equity backing, and we formed Integral Venture Partners to exactly address that demand that we've identified. The team is together since 2016, is operating together since 2016, and is formally investing since late 2019, early 2020. Since then, we have basically believe we've done very well, and have now made close to 10 investments. We are properly pan-regional, starting from Poland, where we have one add-on acquisition or acquisition that we acquired through an existing company called Cool, a digital school. We have our first investment this year in Czech Republic, going down Hungary. We have two investments, former Yugoslavia. We have another two companies. Then Romania, most recently with Medima Health, our first investment in Romania and first in the private healthcare space. And going south, we have another three investments in Bulgaria. So again, operating out of three hubs, but being properly pan-regional with a footprint in all core markets of Central Eastern Europe.
Well, if we look at the context we're in, if we look at the M&A landscape right now, we've seen that at the global level, it's a decline in the number of transactions, but actually in Romania, we see an increase in the number of transactions. How do you see this paradox? How do you explain it? And what are your expectations for the M&A market in the year to come?
It's a good question. If I had all the answers, I'll be probably making huge profits. But in a nutshell, yes, there is a decline in the global M&A, partially because of the uncertainty going forward, partially because obviously a lot of these humongously big transactions of multi-billion transactions are financed with debt, and now debt is becoming more expensive. As a result, sellers are rethinking, and in order not to kind of adjust their price expectations, they're rather not selling. Buyers, on the other hand, cannot meet certain price expectations just because putting more equity makes it more unattractive for them, and as a result, and obviously other factors around global conflicts, global geopolitical factors, the M&A market became more uncertain. On the other hand, there is always a little bit of a lag between the developed Western world and these parts of the world. So maybe some of these impacts will feel in our parts of the world with a slight delay. Also, here in the region, a lot of the transactions are still require less debt, are done with more equity, and in general, that is where we see a lot of the deals happening more on the kind of equity front with less debt, and that basically makes the profile a little bit less riskier, because as you pile more debt, your profile, especially in times of stagnation or even downturn, becomes more stable. So I believe that also our region historically, and especially I would say Romania, we see still higher growth than in than the broader region, and also the broader kind of the developed world. So even if we notice that in the developed world, the forecast for next year is a slower growth, but still some growth, we believe that the region will still grow faster than that. So again, the region is not expected to shrink dramatically, but more demonstrate a slower growth.
Now I want to ask you why you choose Medima Health for investment. What are your plans as an investor there, and what are you looking at as a company for the Romanian market? What's the dimension and the type of company you're looking for, the sectors?
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, there are two, if I can, in a nutshell, there are two main reasons why we think Medima is a great buy. One, we believe there is the market for imaging diagnostics is yet to grow, yet to develop. We believe there is a lot of white space and demand for quality imaging diagnostics, and beyond the big cities, where it is fair to say that this business has been well developed. Beyond Bucharest, Cluj, and the other big cities, there is still huge demand in smaller tier 2, tier 3 cities, which are not necessarily served by the big centers. So if you see Medima, part of its network, yes, it's located in Bucharest, where demand is strong, but also the supply is also strong. But in smaller cities outside of Bucharest, we've identified a number of these where opening an imaging diagnostics clinic made sense, and we've already experienced quite a significant pickup in demand in this newly open center. So on one hand, as I said, the market fundamental is there. The market fundamentals are there. On the other hand, we've entered into a constellation of one hand a blue chip or a like-minded investor with a blue chip investor base, and similar to ours being Morphosis Capital, with whom we have a good relationship, and on the other hand, a top-notch management team led by Vladar Delanu and complemented by Professor Dr. Yana, kind of give the both sides of are addressing the both sides of the business. On the business side, Vladar Delanu had done a great job in rolling the network to the phase where or to the stage where it is now, and then Professor Dr. Yana has given us a very kind of, with his strong profile and reputation, given us access to the top radiologists that make kind of the service of Medima Health on par, if not better, with its competitors.
Good. So this was the equation for Medima that suit you, that was appealing to you as a fund. Looking further, what other sectors are you looking for in the Romanian market? How many investments or how much money do you want to deploy in this market? And what should entrepreneurs know if they want to attract you as an investor?
Yes. So we are investing in, I would say, 4 or 5 primary sectors that are, let's call them typical product sectors. One broad space is the technology, media, and telecom. Then we're where we have a lot of track record across all 3 sub verticals. Then it's the consumer, the broader consumer retail space, where also we prior track record, but also current portfolio, we have a couple of investments in that space. Thirdly, I would say the niche production, niche industrials businesses that are also very interesting space for us. Again, number of these businesses primarily is in Central Europe. And lastly, the private healthcare is obviously an interesting for us industry, and we've already through Medima we've put a flag there. We are selectively looking also at services, business services, but these are the generally 4 or 5 big sectors that we're focused on. Companies, revenue generating companies, ideally with profitable revenue generating companies led by entrepreneurs, or sometimes where entrepreneurs are basically looking for a succession. We certainly understand how to take businesses and drive them and lead them through the next phase of growth. So anything we can invest anywhere between starting from 5 million euros going up to 20 to 25 million euros for more kind of the so-called buy and build strategies. But anywhere in that range we can on our own or together with co-invest partners, and we have worked in every geography, in every kind of sub-region of our kind of core markets. We've worked with various either financial or strategic investors or local entrepreneurs. It's our specialty, it's in our name to be a partner. So we very rarely actually go alone. We like to partner. We know how to do it. We know how to talk the language of the local investors and entrepreneurs, and we are very open to, again, various structures as long as it kind of makes strategic and commercial sense.
Right, but what can you tell us about the future of the transaction you're gonna announce in this market? Are you gonna and I don't know, are you targeting 2 transactions per year or 1 transaction per year? Transaction?
Yeah.
What's your target?
Look, it's difficult to say. I would say that probably we would ideally do, sometimes it would be between 1 to 2 or 1 to, let's say, 1 to 3 per cycle, and for us 1 cycle could be anywhere between 3 to 5 years. That's in Romania. On per kind of fund basis, I think on a fund basis per cycle it would be 10 to 12. So probably, you know, 1 a quarter, or even in some cases a third could be done in Romania.
All right. I didn't understand if you replied earlier to my question. How big is the fund and how much have you deployed of it till now?
The fund is around, let's say, 130 million. Just this particular one, and we are very kind of advanced in terms of deployment. Getting close to where we will start actually fundraising again.
All right. So, what's the end game for a fund of your type? Like, there are funds that want to sell further to other funds once they grow the company. There are funds that seek, I don't know, public listing, an IPO. What's your end game? What's your plans with the companies you enter in?
A great question. We are again, being financial investors. I would say we are flexible. There are 3 ways, you know, to generally. I mean, there are various, could be there a lot more various alternative outcomes. But in a way, you can either exit to another, like a bigger P who can take the business and take it forward. Or secondly, exit to a strategic, and then that's the in a way the company merges into the larger strategic, or go to an IPO. I would say that for us, the first and the second exit routes are the more probable exit routes.
All right. In your experience, if you're looking at the history, the brief history of the Romanian M&A market, what's your perspective? Where is the Romanian market right now? What's new and what's missing still?
It's a very good question. I think, look, first, Romania is a large market. There's a large population, and as such, there is a lot of potential. Obviously, it's a fast-growing economy. It's on the radar of big strategics and even big large private equity players. So the basis is there, and the basics are there, and the market on paper should offer a lot of opportunities. I believe that some companies, and actually that consolidation of certain bigger industries like the energy sector, telecom sector, financial sector, insurance, has to some extent happened. And beyond that, there are a number of younger businesses that are now becoming more mature and for a private equity backing, and are growing to an extent where they're actually ready to either scale up by acquiring a competitor or actually go outside of the boundaries of Romania. And this is where we are the right the right partner to work potentially with the entrepreneur, taking the business to the stage where it is, and helping them grow it, grow it further. So I believe that again there is a large number of these companies that are now maturing and are ready to take basically to work with a partner and get to the next level. And in particular, for example, and I'm talking more about the traditional economy. In tech, you see a lot of obviously young entrepreneurs. The companies are smaller but growing fast, and they are naturally given that these people are kind of usually their founders are quite educated. They're obviously more open, if you will, to getting a backer or attracting an investment partner earlier on in their development. So all in all, as I started this conversation, we believe that the market is yet to offer a lot more, and we see a lot of opportunities in many sectors, including technology.
Are you looking primarily for companies that can go regional or even global, or this is not a focus for you?
Both.
Okay.
In short, both. We see companies that have the potential to be global. Obviously, the technology businesses are good candidates, and the risk there is certainly higher, but the upside is also high. Then you have other companies that are more regional, or even such as Medima Health, that are more focused on the specific country. In this case, Romania. Not saying that they are not able to travel abroad, but again, it's something that we would explore later on, or maybe for the next owner. But there we see businesses, and we see that in any other country, that there are certainly businesses in that are kind of more tailored, or more of regional or even country-specific business, and they're such businesses that are global. And you in Romania, you have a number of such kind of good examples. One thing that I have to say, that for the more traditional businesses, more entrepreneurial businesses that were started 20 or so years ago, I would say that there is a huge element of education, or need of education, of some of these entrepreneurs on the benefits and merits of having a private equity partner. So that from that perspective, having the ecosystem that we're seeing in Romania is extremely important. That ecosystem obviously is a great source of knowledge and education for some of the local entrepreneurs on the merits of having a institutional backing from someone like us, and a lot of the obviously the other players in the market, and that takes time. That is a longer process that can take 5-10 years, even more, of constantly, and having more of these investments, more of these deals that like ours in Medima is part of the education process.
Well, I have two more questions, because we don't have a lot of time left. First, short one, just to clarify, from your answers, is my understanding that you don't seek to take by yourself a majority stake in the company you invest, maybe together with another investor, but not by yourself. Is it true? I understood right?
No, not necessarily. We can. In a number of investments, we act on our own. So we are obviously we are able to, or very flexible when it comes to partnerships. but our partnerships could be where we are in control or in majority, and our partners or the remaining shareholders are in minority. Or we can also look at deal structures where we are in minority. Staying in minority, we are a very active investor. We are, even if we have 1% in a company, we'll still do the same amount of work, and we'll have the same approach to the business as if we had like 99%. We are very active, very hands-on. So irrespective of the stake we own, our style and approach is very similar. But we are again flexible to the way we approach the situation, as long as it has to make commercial and strategic sense.
Okay, one last question. At the start of this discussion, you've talked about the fact that the debt is not so cheap anymore. The debt is more expensive. We've seen that we had 10 years with decreasingly expensive debt, especially the last 2 years. But now the whole landscape is changing. How the more expensive money landscape changes the way you look at a company, how it changes the way financial of a company is looking through your lenses. How is it all changed now?
So that has impact, obviously, in a way on your ability to fund the business at a certain valuation. If you have your ability to basically attract less debt, will again impact your ability to do a transaction at a certain price. So the less leverage, probably the lower probably the price you can offer is. On the other hand, in times of uncertainty, putting too much debt in a company is not a great recipe necessarily, and you might end up in a situation where you see pressure on your revenues and your cash flows, and at the same time you see an increase in terms of your interest. So there is a kind of a double negative impact, and the only thing I can advise is being actually extremely careful in such times on the amounts of debt you're bringing into a company. On the other hand, if you will be, you can also approach the situation and focus more on the equity. But then, if you do a more kind of purely equity deals, you would certainly require higher you would expect higher growth prospects, because else your returns, your math won't work.
Well, thank you for all these answers, Mr. Chesnovski. I hope we can see again, maybe in the studio at Ziar Financiar, to talk about your plans for the Romanian market. I wish you luck with all the plans, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. Mulțumesc că a fost alături de noi, cum spuneam, domnul Evtim Chesnovski, partener la Integral Venture Partners. Iată un fond de investiții care a intrat momentan în piața din România printr-un plasament în Medima Health, unde a intrat lângă Morphosis Capital, un fond deja existent acolo în acționariat. După o scurtă pauză discutăm cu Grup Șerban Holding despre cum a fost anul agricol 2022. Vă aștept!